RDC.
Nobody
Greg?
else coming, Sean.
I got you.
Okay.
I'd like to call the Redevelopment Commission special meeting for August 23rd, 2022 at 6:03 p.m. Mr. Secretary, roll call.
Mr. White?
Here.
Mr. Hardaway?
Yeah.
Ms. Uselak?
Here.
I am here, Mr. Pettit.
Here.
I have a quorum, sir.
We have a quorum. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda, accounts payable register voucher approval for August 23rd, 2022, and approval of the meeting minutes from July 26, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Uselak, seconded by Mr. White to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Under old business, we have a letter from Town Engineering Administrator recommending the hire of Butler, Fairman, and Seifert to provide right-of-way management supervision for Mississippi Street and 69th Avenue intersection improvement. Jake Damerall from Butler Fairman is here. Jake, in Steve's absence, you and Pat want to let the RDC know what's going on here?
Yes, sir. Good evening. Jake Damerall with Butler, Fairman, and Seifert. This agreement is in respect to the project that the town has federally funded through funds that have funneled down through NERPC for intersection improvements at 69th and Mississippi Street. Butler, Fairman, and Seifert was selected some time ago to provide the engineering services for this project and move it through the NDOT process. We're currently at a point in time in which we can move into the right-of-way services segment of the project. These are done through the standard NDOT boilerplate agreement, and they are done under a separate contract than that of the engineering. They have different phasing, PE, right-of-way, and then construction. So what this agreement allows us to do is to move forward with the appraisals of the parcels that are adjacent to the project and would be needed for the project to continue forward, as well as work with any adjacent parcels that may be looking to donate to the town for the project to move forward as well. This will include some sub-consultants, if you will, for us to utilize in appraising. There'll be local real estate appraisers, and they'll be part of our team, and that will be based on generally the town preference as well as schedule. And as you all probably know right now, making sure that pretty much anybody can meet a schedule has been challenging. So we'll work with our local appraisers to meet those challenges on the schedule. We currently have $125,000 in federal funds for the right-of-way acquisition in fiscal 2024, and we have made a request for an additional $82,000 to be used towards right-of-way in fiscal year 2023. We are currently in federal fiscal year 2023, so I've been working with NERPC, Mr. Charles Bradsky, of course, with Steve by my side, in order to acquire those funds on behalf of the town. Welcome to take any questions you might have on the services or the project.
Any questions for Jake? I got a couple off the top of my head that I want to confer with Joe. Anybody have any questions? Joe, obviously, or to Jake, this intersection encompasses our border with Hobart. We would obviously have right-of-way buying power in the city of Hobart, or do we need to send things to their city council and or redevelopment commission? Jake?
You plan on obtaining?
Yeah, generally, I think it's similarly to when the bridge went over. You acquired the right-of-way in the city of Hobart, and then there was a transfer that occurred then thereafter.
Okay.
I am not certain what amount of right-of-way is necessary within the city of Hobart's jurisdiction at this point in time. There will likely be a little bit, but I do think the majority lies on the western side of 69th and Mississippi.
Okay, and then since this project is federal aid through NERPC, correct?
Correct.
So that will be 2 appraisers and then sent down to a review approval in Indianapolis?
It depends on the value of the property. I believe, and don't quote me on this, it's valued over $25,000. It requires a second appraisal. Is that right, Mr. Shvetnoff?
Correct.
Yep. So it will vary based on the appraised value, whether it needs 1 or 2 appraisals. But generally, yes, that is the correct procedure.
Okay. And then obviously, for the benefit of the RDC, knowing that area, keep in mind, folks, that southwest corner is owned by NIPSCO. They just put up that substation up there. So I'm assuming, Pat, between you and Steve and Jake, I would anticipate that's a donation, or at least I would hope so. And then Aunt Millie's is on our side, Jeff and Margie. We saw that subdivision that two-lot subdivision at Plan Commission, so they would be
Yeah.
talking to Mr. Pop and his associates in Fort Wayne on that one. So, and then I'm not sure who's got the Hobart side.
You're correct on those parcels, and we have been in communication with the Aunt Millie's group as well. As far as what's necessary, we've worked with their site plan in order to accommodate the improvements. They had voiced some interest in working with the town on that, as well as
Okay.
within utility coordinations. And we certainly have made NIPSCO aware as part of our utility coordination that occurs of the project, and I'm sure they'll be willing to work with us as well. I wanted to point out on the fee, this is a not to exceed amount. It's based on a per parcel basis. So we have listed the number of parcels that are adjacent to the project. We might not need all those parcels depending on how things go. So this is a total not to exceed, likely to come in a little less than that if we're able to reduce our number of right.
Which is what, Jake, again?
The total is $50,175.
$50,175?
That is correct.
So in your acquisition process, then, you're gonna be taking, let's say, 2 appraisals, then going ahead, sending a uniform land acquisition offer to the person themselves. What about if they don't accept the appraisal?
That's a conversation then we have with the town's team to determine the next steps forward, following the federal procedure, whether there's a counteroffer or whether we go to condemnation. That's a decision that is made as a team within the town.
Okay,
Yep.
all right.
Are
Okay.
you looking at any counteroffers presently, just in case?
We have not gotten to that point yet. We have not yet appraised the properties, therefore no offers have been made. At the point in time in which offers are made, if there are any that do not agree to those offers, we'll work with Steve and Pat and whomever appropriate in the town to communicate those so you can make a decision moving forward.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Jake? Seeing none, Chair will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Uzelak. Chair will recognize Jeff and Leonard on the second. Any further discussion? Do we need a voice vote on this, Joe, since it's
Appropriation of monies to a roll call.
roll call, yeah. All right, Mr. Secretary, roll call.
Mr. White,
Yes.
Mr. Hardaway.
Yep.
Ms. Huselak,
Yes,
I am a yes. Mr. Pettit,
Yes,
5 yeses.
motion carries.
Thank you all.
Yep, thank you, Jake. There is no new business, correct, Mr. Reardon?
That is correct, sir.
All right, under general orders, resolution 22-58 is a resolution authorizing and approving acquisition of certain real estate and all matters related thereto. As the RDC may remember, we sold Lot 2 in the town's subdivision at the community center to Epic United Volleyball Club, the 3-acre parcel. Unfortunately, that project will not come to fruition, and we have made inquiries, Pat and Joe have made inquiries to Epic United about purchasing the property back, so it's basically money in, money out of the Broadway TIF to acquire this. Joe, what is the purchase price?
I think $86,750.
Which is what they paid us to begin with.
Correct. It's a similar transaction to what we dealt with before. I've gotten title work back on the property. I'm seeing no new encumbrances on the property. So at this time, I think what we should do is get this resolution approved tonight and get a closing date set to acquire that parcel, and then we can talk about disposition after that.
All right.
Motion to approve said resolution.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Minchuk, seconded by Mr. Hardaway to approve Resolution 22-58. Is there any further discussion?
yes. How many days do we have until we could get the closing date? Is
Well-
there a time element?
Well, there's a time element within the purchase agreement itself, which has not been signed yet. And
Okay.
the purchase agreement gives you basically 21 days to do some due diligence if you want to do due diligence, then close within 30 days.
So then we have 21 days, if we need them.
21 days to conduct due diligence, 30 days in which to close.
Okay, very good, thank you.
What is it?
It's
Oh, yeah, you can talk about that one under ARP at the council with Richard. That's not an RDC matter.
okay.
Any further discussion or questions for Joe or Pat? Seeing none, since this is a resolution, we'll do a roll call, Mr. Secretary.
Mr. White,
Yes.
Mr. Hardaway.
Yep.
Ms. Uselak?
Yes,
I'm a yes. Mr. Pettit?
Yes,
5 yes.
motion carries, Joe. Any other business, Mr. Reardon?
No, sir.
All right,
motion to adjourn.
Second.
okay.